In our last session, your party had a night's refuge at the abandoned greenhouse. You learned of Holta's association with this enigmatic gang, group, guild,
club, Ready Watch,
that you, with some inference, at least from Issa's side, learn that this is a group likely known as the Forsaken. And knowing that her group and Carmela are likely in the same place, you venture down into the ruined railways once again with Holta's direction in order to get to their hideout within the Z Junction. You make it to a hidden door where most of the party ventured forth, while Ulrich, Draco hang back to make sure that they're not being followed, no dangers are on their way. A few moments pass, and a kid that you later learn is Rakjax collapses in front of them. Ulrich, you nurse him back to health with some water and some food, and Draco hides the fact that they may or may not have acquired the golden fennel.
Very adeptly hides it. No one could have discovered such a thing.
Yeah. But this was very suspicious on Ulrich's end. You were wondering why wouldn't they have just helped this kid in need? But nonetheless, you joined back up with the rest of the group who had recently stumbled upon a blinding trap, blinding about half of your party. And after overcoming a few more traps along the way, you managed to make it to the end of this Z Junction. Issa recalls Carmela's coded message and speaks the phrase, "Freedom is won, not given," triggering half of the bricks outlining this archway on the wall to flip. But the command was interrupted as a mass of bodies congealed and attacked your party. Thankfully, after some combat, Orin was able to deal the killing blow, trisecting this monster before them with the power of his lightning chains. Issa continued chanting the passphrase until the secret entrance opened up. Holta, relieved to see the doors open, sprinted ahead with this burst of energy that has not been seen from her during this whole journey. And now, as you all venture forth into this hall, this former maintenance hub, the hideout sits at the heart of a 5-way tunnel junction, a stone and brick chamber whose ceiling vaults about 20 feet in height. And above each of these 5 tunnels, weathered iron arches are still etched with worn placards, naming the districts that they once led to. You see, in order going clockwise, you see Waterfront District, then Paterna District, Ruby, then another placard labeled Spired District-Mining District, and then another one, Grand Cathedral-Royal District. And the latter placard is scratched and covered with crude graffiti or sigils by the gang. The infrastructure is old and grimy, with riveted steel columns and brass piping that run along the walls. Cracked tiles line the floor in disjointed patterns, and overhead, various arcane braziers, flickering white light throughout this room. Against curved walls are rows of stacked crates, supplies looted or bartered for, and they seem to be marked with 3 distinct colors. Red marks for rations, green marks for munitions, blue marks for medicine. Makeshift weapon racks are fashioned from old rail spikes and piping, holding blades and firearms and other improvised weapons. And in one tunnel alcove, there's a modest forging station that glows with low coals and scavenged bellows manned by a hooded smith working on some sort of weapon or fixing some piece of armor, perhaps. There are scattered bedrolls and hammocks stretched between support beams and fire barrels that burn low near sleeping areas. And old train benches have even been converted into communal planning tables, maps of Luyarna sprawled across them that are pierced with knives and circled with red ink and arrows in red ink. And at the rear wall of the chamber, high above a central fire pit in the middle of this space, hangs what seems to be the banner of this group, of the Forsaken. Crimson and white cloth that is stained by smoke displays the image of a blindfolded skull, jawless, in front of a bold X of broken chains. And there are some train cars, pretty lengthy in size, larger than the turned over one that was just outside of this room, outside of this hideout. Look to be more of like public transit, but they are filled interiorly to the brim of several crates and barrels. And immediately, as you all are taking this space in, Halta calls out for a few people. Fratania! Gresham! Fratania! Oh, there you are! And they all call back, Halta? Halta? And they run to her, and you see a tiefling woman in what looked to be just like modest, like common clothes and robes, running up to her. She's a green-skinned tiefling with like these light blue, all blue eyes, and a gnome, a male gnome who she seemed to refer to as Gresham. He's in what kind of looks like robes similar to that of maybe Mist, maybe Dakarin. And they all embrace her, and you can hear little bits of conversation, thinking that she had died. What happened to you? Like, oh my goodness, what happened? Like, are you okay? All this stuff. And eventually, you do see, surrounding one of these converted benches, you see a tall elven woman with slicked back, black hair, black and green robes with various shroom edges on her shoulders, her arms, her legs, and part of her head, administering some sort of druidic magic and aid to other similarly sick individuals.
Big C.
Big C.
Big C.
Big C.
We're doing this before. I took the wrong way. So
It was right for me.
I know it was right for you, but it was wrong.
It's deep.
Well, it's fun. It's fun to point out that like the meet that we just saw between Holta and those folks would not have been possible if I think we didn't become invested in her in the last session or 2 sessions ago, which was just kind of a fun branching path scenario. So just know that's the power of roleplay. Okay?
And then she kind of quickly fell out of our favor. Like,
That's serious B.
we did a hard left turn on Holta.
You're like, why are you here again?
You You brought us here.
That's it.
Remind me why we saved your life.
Give her the vial.
Yeah.
Give her the vial, Changus.
Put her back on the table.
Yeah. Rubber tubes on the arms. One of your dope needles, please.
The doctor when your card declines.
Oh no.
Put the sickness back. Unheal.
What took the sickness back up? The card didn't
I
take.
love the idea of this like dark future where the doctor like pulls the iPad towards you.
Yeah.
All right, swipe your card before
Yeah.
we proceed with this life-saving procedure.
Yeah,
Card
we
declines.
accept.
That's it.
That's it.
Back on the dope for you, kid. Get out of here.
Yeah, we don't accept chlorine.
Give them their dirty needles.
Yeah.
What do you all do?
So, because we had our kind of like we were trying to sort of like we were bringing her to Zed Junction because this is like would be the next like hopefully a place where she could actually find healing. We were, I guess one thing that we could talk to Carmel about is maybe this let's see the
Did we see Carmel?
Yes.
Is she here? Oh, okay.
we could talk to her about the Delari fever if she's able to sort of like because that's one of the things that let's see the Raywalt guy he was thinking about the because we're kind of on a quest here as far to find like sort of like the maybe the individual or the group sort of leading the charge with smearing his name, but he was also kind of talking about how in this section of in this district in the Ruby district, the Delari fever kind of sweeping the nation. So we can find out more about that because he mentioned both of those things, and also like we don't know if we can get back outside of Ruby district. Is that do I recall that correctly? Like. Because it was like we disappeared when like it was like as we walked into it we could not be
tried
seen.
to go back out and there was like a
force
invisible
field.
wall.
Yeah. So those are things that were kind of
We also have the vial that the vicar gave us. Of
That's right.
Yes.
so we could bring
serum or whatever.
Yeah.
It is, the tonic.
yes. So I think we just need to talk to the Big C
Big C.
and basically bring some of that stuff up. So I don't know. Does anyone have any other things that they like to do? I don't want to barge over anybody else.
I'd be curious.
We
about
should
talking a
also
little
ask
bit
her
to
if she's got the stuff for Rap Jacks.
You guys have.
We have the stuff.
We have it with us?
Someone has the golden fennel.
I thought we gave it to her.
I thought we did too.
You're right. Yep.
But
Sorry,
this is
you
great.
did have a meeting before.
I forgot about that.
So I didn't lie my ass off?
It was a half
Wait,
truth.
hold on. Okay, but I feel like we gave her some so that she could essentially incubate or grow it. But I don't remember giving
we have
her
the rest of it.
Yeah, like
we gave
all of it.
That's right.
So I did lie for my teeth.
Yeah.
So somebody still has like a bag of golden fin.
It was you. I don't know.
Why are you
Patrick is like, I can smell it on you.
Oh, somebody dropped their golden fennel here in this tunnel.
Oh no!
That's weird.
Super weird.
No one's so screwed
there
down
it
here.
is.
We just
Did someone explain what this is?
Oh, it's the cure for his malady.
Yeah.
You guys just have.
We went looking for it for him.
Yes.
It was.
We went through hell to get that shit.
This golden fentanyl
Golden fentanyl.
is everything.
Is there any other kind?
Golden fin.
Okay, so I think as a group we all walk up to Carmela, and Carmela, it's good to see you. Are you?
So cold.
Or is your how is your practice going here in Zed Junction since you had to flee the greenhouse?
While you're approaching her, addressing her, asking her these questions, you can tell she's hearing you. She's not looking at you. She's in the process of mending an arm of an individual who looks to have a much more progressed version of Holta's disease. The purplish hue has extended beyond the wrist and now into the forearm, and she's applying some kind of medicinal salve while you see this like olive green and yellow energy wrapping and circulating around this person. Impressive that you caught my message. If you don't mind, just give me about 5 seconds. There we go.
We just can't wait.
All right, and by the way, this individual is a human, and most of these people seem to be humans or half orcs. In some cases, even scourge-born individuals. You've seen some people that look to be around her that have been treated. Folks who have like this complexion that reminds you of a stag or a deer. Large antlers or small bucking horns and a deer-like snout, but almost like if you're a minotaur, but not half bull, half stag. And
Weren't there some of those around here before as well?
there were.
Okay.
There are other scourge-born individuals who are tending to families around themselves. Some more almost wolfman-esque, very canine-like features. Lots of hair, lots of fur, and a not paws, but they look like more humanoid hands, yet with claws on them, piercing yellow eyes. But each of these individuals of half-breed aren't savage. At least they're not acting very beast-like. They seem to have a much more tame humanoid nature about them. So I'm sorry, I was slightly distracted. I saw that you came here with a giantess woman. She alright?
Our story with her begins at a chapel within the Ruby District.
Which...
I believe it was the Shattering Light Cathedral, perhaps.
Shut up. Like that... That cathedral's rather abandoned, except for the few of the sort of like clerics there.
There were multiple vicars there, administering
Vicars?
this.
Hold on. What sect of church did they belong to?
I believe it was the Ovidus Scourge.
Ah, so you're at the Western Chapel. Yes, I've been aware of their goings-on. I'm rather curious if anything has come of their tonics.
Well, that was something we had come to learn in our experience there. We had encountered a couple ne'er-do-wells upon entering, and after dispatching them, we went inside, which seemed a very tranquil church, and upon the top level it was these vicars administering this clear white viscous fluid intravenously to these people, and the vicar, according to the vicars, their word is that these patients that they had were on the mend. They were all experiencing some kind of Dolari fever, and we, after having one of our party members, Chengiz, taste the tonic, they experienced a...
And she like slowly turns towards you.
I think it was purely scientific curiosity that led him to try it. It wasn't.
Or a death wish, perhaps.
Well, we didn't know. I think we had a positive outlook when visiting this chapel. We saw a bunch of sick we thought were being tended to, and
This is the holy tonic I've had circulating throughout this.
we have a sample.
You.
And
Wonderful.
after having tasted it, Genghis can go into what he experienced.
What have you experienced, boy?
I took just a little taste of it, instantly swoop to another plane. There's some kind of connection with an eldritch beast in horrific conditions. Seems to be captured and maimed and tortured and being extracted by some great machine, some kind of whatever abomination it was. There's clearly whatever of that nature at play.
Confusion washes over her face. Did you feel sympathy for this creature?
Oh yeah, within a twinge. Oh, not much, but I definitely wonder of what its true nature is and how it ended up there.
I as well. Well, I believe at least a brief demonstration as to what exactly it is that we are dealing with here. Delari fever is nothing to be trifled with, as this is not the first time that it has circulated through our city. However, this is the first time that it has circulated and been hyper-focused in the Ruby district.
So, Delari fever, that is what, like, you were just tending to on the hand?
Oh yes. Call over your recent addition.
Jacks, please.
No, wait, does he have it? No, he has something else.
It's not him.
Rackjax does have something else, but Holta has the.
That's right. Sorry, I forgot we had two sick. We had
Yeah,
an escort mission of two folks.
But by the way, Rackjax has just been like clinging onto like your like coattails as like just behind, like hanging in the background because like you showed him the most pity. And
Sorry, Holta. And I think I'm a little terse speaking with Holta. But
yeah, so she didn't. I mean, she was immediately enraptured by the conversation with her two friends. So calling out to her, eventually she does respond, and you see her just like basically say one moment, yeah, what's going on?
This woman will take a look at your condition.
May I see your hands, my dear? And she carefully extends her hands out, just like, what the fuck's going on? And she says, Carmela says, Delari fever, causes and symptoms. And as she's like making this description, she's like looking up and down all of her extremities. Acute and/or prolonged exposure to delirium. And the symptoms, I assume, fever, icy cold veins. Yeah. And shown in a dark navy color, as you can see here. She points to like her veins up her arms, down her calves that are exposed. Her neck a little bit show like a deep blue hue. And extremities exhibiting early signs of vilachromia. Mental acuity plagued by temporary or spontaneous madness. If left untreated, she walks over to the man that is currently unconscious, but was the one that she was in the process of treating just before you approached. Delari fever progresses in stages until it becomes delirithrosis, and then she puts her hands over the arms and limb and legs of this man, almost like she's like pulling, like maybe reverse gravity, maybe puppetry, like it just looks weird like that, and his arms are hovering it with every time that she goes over. An intensified fever that practically fries the victim's brain, causing indefinite madness, and in some cases exhibiting psychokinetic bursts of chaotic energy. And further, violachromia all along their limbs. Not all who have experienced the depths of delirium fever or even deliriothrosis turn into a monstrosity of scourgeborn. But those that have, I believe that those monsters have no choice but to be put down. And unfortunately, our district and likely neighboring districts as well are being ravaged by such a kind. There's no knowing how many have already turned. So bringing her to me now, as well as this holy, air quotes, tonic that you have acquired from the vicar, I assume.
It was acquired through a little bit of convincing, a little bit of mischief. But
All very acceptable in the given circumstances, I assume.
they seemed. We didn't do any deep investigation into their true purpose. But what they were telling us was that it was, if not healing them, maybe stalling the effects of the fever. I guess I'm curious your perspective on these people. I like with your just reading your expressions here. It almost seems like they seem as if they're cultists. They're not. They don't. Their intention does not seem pure. We did not leave on good terms from this chapel.
I would not assume so. Scolari has claimed that they are just a sister branch denomination of the Radiant Order, but are far from it. They've all but abandoned the tenets of what it means to follow the Radiant One. Take shortcuts, clerical, divine shortcuts and methods that, in my opinion, though I'm not exactly a religious figure, I see them as more as finding ways to justify this new faith of theirs. Combining methods of dark alchemy, reaching to powers beyond the natural order. It would not surprise me that the best outcome that one could ever have from such a tonic is merely masking the symptoms, while the rest of its malice does its work in the background. At this point, you see the tiefling and the gnome run up to Halta, and the gnome speaks up. Oi! What's all your new friends here? I'm surprised. I thought we was the best ones you ever had, eh? Sorry, no offense meant by that. I'm just curious, where's it all come from? How'd you find them? Jeez, Gresham, not right now. This is Carmela, a very notable healer in the district, and from what I understand, she has ways that you guys know of to heal my disease.
Not that we know of, but we know she heals.
Well, now that we have this tonic, may I? Whoever has. She takes it from you, Chinggis. And she says, and how long, dear, have you been dealing with the symptoms outside of the Scolari's watch? Uncorks the vial and pours it into her hand and just begins to suspend it in midair as it swirls into like a sphere as she holds it, like walking over to other pieces of equipment and other other tools and instruments. What has it been? Like a day and a half, I guess. Not that long. All right. You might in fact live. Have a seat. In fact, why don't you lay down? And this won't be easy, but it's going to take a few days for this to cure. Luckily, you're in a better state than he is. He'd be lucky to last a week. Thank you for bringing this to me, and I'm sorry that I had to leave you all in such a riddle. If others untrustworthy types were to come through and find my enchanted iris, I didn't want them exactly finding where I went. So, kudos to you for following through.
Speaking of following through, while we're on the topic, how long does the golden fennel retain its healing properties?
How long ago was it that you plucked it, that you found it?
Oh, north of 2 weeks, closer to 3 maybe.
We just now managed to find the individual who needed it.
Been preserving it.
Wait. This is about the golden fennel?
Yes.
I thought we gave it to her. I thought that was what we
No,
just said.
she has
the tonic.
one that has the roots.
Okay.
She,
Yeah.
in theory, was going to cultivate it.
Oh. And she wasn't.
And then you guys have some.
I don't know who.
Well,
had
it seems like, I mean,
I
she
think
was
you
mostly
had it.
leaving it in such a rush, grabbing pure essentials. Plants and other seedlings largely were left behind.
I would say that it's been dried.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess it does save me the dehydration process. I'll do what I can.
You're welcome.
I'll do what I can. In the meantime, have you found any leads as to where the Scolari have been cultivating such a tonic? I do believe that if we want to prevent any further abominations to come about, that has to be dealt with.
Could you know for certain that this tonic is has negative effects and not just no positive ones?
I've witnessed those for days on end coming out of the Western Chapel. Seem to be as happy as could be to see that their symptoms have subsided. Believe me, as the matron, as some would call me, of this particular district, I have eyes where I need them. And needless to say, if they didn't try returning to the chapel because the symptoms did not improve, in fact, I saw their worst natures come about them. This woman here is probably the best case I've seen so far, but likely because she has been treated for such a long time. And rather invasively at that.
Wouldn't that seem to indicate that the tonic works over time?
Well, perhaps. However, touching her skin, she is piping hot. And I can't say that that is exactly sign of things going away.
Fair, but what negative? So it doesn't work. What does it do that's bad?
If I were to guess, the tonic probably works so long as someone is perpetually being fed such a serum. Which is likely why she has survived this long as it is. I mean, you had mentioned that she was intravenously fed tubes of this substance into her body. For how long?
We have no idea. I mean, Holta might.
Maybe she might know.
But
And
obviously, if she was experiencing visions such as yours, she's probably. I mean, she's experiencing this interdimensional visage. She might not be able to track
She
time.
does seem a little fucked in the head.
she sits up a little bit from the table. I remember seeing the last thing I saw was the radiant watch lining the walls of the district. And Ulrich, you would know that was like at least a week and a half ago, like a long time.
So over a week.
I can only hope that this antitoxin that I'm able to procure is more than enough to just stave off her symptoms, but reverse this disease. Delirium is something not to be trifled with. And it is rather impressive that you, sir, and points over to Orin, as he has this massive cleaver with dark purplish veins wrapping around the handle of it, clearly imbued with delirium, is able to wield such a weapon. Sure am curious, extraordinarily curious, that you found ways to manage it. Conversation for another day.
I think to answer your previous question, I mean, it seems to me the best lead we have as far as, you know, where this tonic might be coming from or produced is a brewery. Something that
Which brewery?
Abbotship.
The Abbotship Brewery, eh? At one point in time, and I know that not many of you know much about the history of this city, but at one point in time it was owned by and operated by the Radiant Order. It was the, well, not quite the base of operations, but base of brewery. And, well, the monks who once sang hymns between kettles and casks brewed ales, famed for their clarity and purity, called it liquid reverence. But over
I like that.
But over a year ago, a batch tainted with a strange toxin led to a string of violent deaths. The clergy called it a tragic accident. Whispers said otherwise, and by week's end, the doors were sealed, the cellars padlocked, and the last of the brothers quietly reassigned or were buried. And since then, the brewery has stood abandoned. Mostly. Locals spake of strange lights flickering through the brewhouse windows on windless nights, of wails from deep within the fermentation halls, but those seem to be folklore to prevent children, from wandering through hazardous spaces. This is all the folklore, the history, all stuff you are very intimately aware, Ulrich, of. In fact, it wouldn't be too surprising if you had frequented this brewery in the past.
We were informed by an oligarch in the Ruby District that there was a scourge sweeping the Ruby District. The source of this scourge, we're not. I don't want. I'm experiencing a little bit of confusion because I know that there's a little bit of this tonic potentially being produced. Who knows? Maybe at Abbotship. Is this the cause of a scourge? Because I don't know. I'm experiencing a little bit of confusion between, is Delari fever also just simultaneously sweeping the district, or is there another scourge that we could be talking about? I just want some clarity on that. I don't know. Do you have any intel on this?
Well, triangulating the timeline of when you all had destroyed the last Lunar Revenant, and when the Lari fever started to come about in waves, makes me believe that folks started to take a little bit more courage in themselves, believing that hunters were heroic again, not nearly as hated as they might have once was, with those untrained to know what they're coming up against, fighting monsters in the dark, not knowing what spills upon the breast. Delari catches one and another and another. And when the Arbiters catch wind of an opportunity to step in, to be seen as greater than the Radiant Church, but I think the dominoes begin to fall.
So you don't think this is some sort of engineered disaster that they've created for their own benefit?
Oh, wouldn't that be delicious? I do not know. However, they are not exactly the most up and up people, trying to cut corners, this and that.
Doesn't there seem to be groups interested in squashing the cure, or at least the curing of those afflicted? Which you would be someone on the run from? Or at least obscuring presence?
They were those that have progressed beyond Delarithrosis. Swarmed my greenhouse and gave me no choice but to put them down and escape. At least as best as I could.
So, if the Obitus Scalara are just a sort of maybe long forgotten, or maybe they were part of the Radiant Watch loosely, and now they're just sort of I don't know, a fringe group that, you know, that's detached from the Radiant Watch. I mean, what is, you know, at the very, I share your skepticism as far as the tonic is concerned here, but they are providing some solution, even if it's just maybe staving off the Delari fever for a little while. I mean, but what are the Radiant Watch doing in reaction to this Delari fever? I mean, surely they have more resources and more, at least, bodies behind them that could produce something, right? I mean,
the issue so far does not seem to be so much that the Radiant Church isn't capable or even managing to do anything. It's that, at least in our district, there is enough distrust of the church to even pursue them. And as far as they can see, all the Order is doing is killing monsters, containing us to prevent spread from reaching other districts. To my understanding, the Grand Cathedral has always been open to those who wish to seek divine interventions, as it were. But the people here, I'm sure you'll soon see that they don't have kind words for the Radiant Order.
And yourself?
Undecided. I care more for the people. Care more what's happening to them and what I can do for them.
That's noble. I have one more question for you, and might seem far afield of the sober discussion that we've had. Do you happen to know of an individual named
Mad
Walt?
Jax. Oh, yes. Yes. Thomacrin Rewalt.
Yes.
What of him?
We encountered, we met him, Ulrich assisted us with connecting us to him, and he seemed to be concerned about the ongoing scourge, whether that's, bioengineered or simply, a once-in-a-generation pandemic. He did ask for our help in mitigating that scourge. I was just curious if you had positive or negative feelings on the man.
He seems to be someone of an opportunist, in my mind. Sees ways for him to easily support functions and groups that are of the benefit of Luyana as a whole. Tries his best to make public appearances to make sure that people know who is backing the coin that goes towards such events. Doesn't quite seem like the most jumpstart individual.
But you have no inherent negative feelings towards him.
No. Although I have a hard time empathizing with the ultra-rich.
Preach. Okay, well, is there anything we can do in the short term to help your work here?
I think if my thoughts are correct, this tonic will be the last ingredient that I need to reverse Delari fever, produce antitoxins, but one vial is not enough. If you are able to come across more, or at least know the source of such, bringing that back is going to pay off in dividends for the people here in Ruby District. At this point, you hear the sounds of dragging coming from the one of the tunnels, and you look over and you see coming out of the Grand Cathedral Royal District tunnel, you see a large Scourgeborn deer half-breed Scourgeborn, who is and this person looks like significantly more jacked than any of the other ones that you have seen. The other ones look very slender and probably a little bit more gaunt, considering the condition of the space, but very almost barbaric in his wares. Chains are wrapped around his arms, and he has these what look to be like a long sword on one side of his hip and a short sword on the other side of his hip, with these hand pieces to wrap around or to grip as though punching with these blades. And flying above him, another half-breed individual, but more bat-like. And the snout almost looks like that mid-transformation for any of you who have seen American Werewolf in London. As the man is like mid-transformation, that's kind of the same snout that this bat person has, and pink, like bright pink eyes, leathery wings as they're flying across and just like circling around this space. And being dragged, pleading for mercy, is a half-elf being dragged by the ankles on a whip, and pulling him is this massive, imposing orc individual. Someone who's... This man is decked out in all sharp edges of plate armor. You see a massive iron-headed maul strapped to his back. His hair pulled back, black hair pulled back into a ponytail and spattered across his armor, and the deer half-breed's hide armor is blood and other viscera staining their clothing. And at this point, the crowd in the room grows very quiet and very curious to see what this guy has brought in. Like what's happening, what's going on. Even Holta sits up. Oh, okay. He's back. Okay. He's probably going to make a show of something or say something. Just don't, interrupt. He's a very passionate guy.
Who is he?
His name is Gildrak. Gildrak of the Black and Bone clan, but the Forsaken refer to him as Crownbreaker.
He's not a Forsaken?
Oh, he is. He is the one who started this group. He was the one who was tasked with executing the king.
Crownbreaker.
Main character right here.
Shall we NPCs?
He walks up, dragging this terrified and weeping, what looks to be like some lowly guard of the Radiant Order, and drags him right in front of the massive fire pit.
Look at this one.
Holds him by the neck. He releases the whip, and he has these massive iron gauntlets.
Pitiful, isn't he? What's your name?
Marcus.
Look around you. Do you see any of your kin? Where is the Radiant Order now? Cowering in the shining robes, no doubt. Not giving a shit about Marcus.
The Radiant One preserves us. She must. And the Order, they're working on tightly with the Brass Concord, who ensure. And immediately, as he says, the Brass Concord, he slams his fist and his maul down into the ground.
Those perfumed parasites, resting beneath gilded gates, they could not lift a finger to save their own crumbling towers, let alone the broken masses bleeding in the gutters.
And a dark aura surrounds his person with every passionate word, and a circle of light, almost like a Renaissance painting, resembling a halo, but instead of a full halo, it's like an eclipse. Just briefly, at the very end of his statement. Now addressing the crowd.
They did not aid the lost. They have never known how to suffer.
Looking back at him,
The Order did not save us. The Concord did not save us. We saved us. We saved us.
and grunts and nods of agreement from the crowd. Yeah. Getting amped up.
This city, this rotting jewel, has been carried on the backs of Roby for years. On the shoulders of workers, the teeth of all things, the blood of the nameless. Yeah, the nameless.
And then briefly lost in thought, he looks up, sees the banner overhead of the secret entrance that you guys came in from.
The Forsaken are no longer whispers in the dark. We are the fire at the gates. We are the reckoning, the memory that will not rot. Examples will be made. And I promise you this, my brothers, my sisters, outcasts, exiles, and the bold-hearted damned. Marble will run red!
Bang, 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 slamming iron on ground, on walls, on metal, clanging, an uproar. Holta and her group is even cheering at this.
We bled for Luyana. And now it is Luyana who shall bleed for us! Bleed for us! Bleed for us! Be ready, my family! For we soon shall have this city rid of this cancer once and for all! Forsaken Groundbreaker! Forsaken Groundbreaker!
And at this moment, you see him pulling back this weeping half-elfin man and pulls him aside away from the fire and kind of like away from people. And you see him holding his shoulder, his arm over his shoulder, and he's whispering something to him. You guys are probably close enough that if one or two of you wanted to make a perception check, you could.
I'm curious.
13.
13?
I'll do a perception check, and I feel like as I'm looking, the gemstone around my neck starts to glow kind of out from like behind my robe. Like you can just see it's sort of a light behind it, and I'll take a Tides of Chaos charge for advantage.
Okay.
That's still like only 13. That's a 9. That's a 9.
I'll do it too. 11.
Nice.
So you got what, 10?
Yeah, 13.
I cried it. I
Okay,
got kind
10
of
plus
close.
3.
Respectful curiosity.
You put in your ear trumpet.
Yeah!
And I go, give me that back.
You take it out of his pocket.
You're able to catch most of the words.
Forsake your order. Spread the word.
Whispers.
Lord Raywold parasites.
More mumbling.
Promised refuge within our family.
More mumbles.
Take your chance on the walls. I found you before.
Mumbles, and this guy pisses himself. And just nods over and over and over.
He pisses himself over to Dwayne Johnson.
He was definitely in his Rock Johnson.
Hey, hat tip to Luke on that one. Dude, Oscar-worthy performance. Just want to say that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, man.
Whoa.
Wild.
So he pisses himself. Is he still restrained, or does he move after that?
He's not. Yeah. So when he pulled
Obviously, I
them
didn't
over
hear
to the
that.
fire,
I'm
he
just
didn't. He released the whip. If not had it in one hand, he armed it back on his side, on his belt, clipped it back on his belt, and he was just holding his arm over him.
He doesn't need restraints at this point.
He's not restrained.
Changers, do you inform the rest of the group of what you're...
Yeah, he's trying to turn him, essentially. Put that much fear into him and then send him back out. He's sending a message to the order itself.
Sweet.
Through this man.
Okay. So, at this point, I think, like, our party needs to do a little bit more investigating, but I think it starts at Abiship. What do you think?
I'm partial to that.
Is there because the abbot ship was near the chapel, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like...
Or the
It was
cathedral, I
next door,
guess.
yeah. I guess... if is the orc near us? Like, how far away is he?
So there wasn't really anyone on his side of the fire pit. There was probably a good 30, 40 foot berth between him and anyone else, aside from the two that also, like his entourage that also came with him.
Yeah.
They were basically on either side, like eyeing and like almost like looking intimidatingly to the rest of the crowd. And yeah, so at this point, probably a good 40 feet away.
Crownbreaker.
He looks over as he's kneeling down to reach the height of this person, because this is not a half orc. This is a full pure blood orc, reaching probably a good 7.5 feet in height. And he looks over in your direction.
I think you know what to do. Good decision.
Walks past the fire and is kind of like keeping close to the fire, lighting up the side of his armor and his face.
Not sure we've met before.
I'm Gachrog. You may have heard of our collective here. We are the one bullet point in our resumes that we slayed the Lunar Revenant a couple weeks ago.
That was your group.
It is.
Quite impressive indeed.
We're friends and close acquaintances of Carmela, and we have great respect for what she does. I do inquire. I thought the speech was quite rousing, and I lend great faith to your mission. I think it's wonderful what you described, and we have our own business to attend to while in the Ruby District, but I'm curious to lend you a hand. However, besides that, I am curious. Do you have a plan for this revolution? Is there a day of reckoning for the regime?
You see,
and he is getting very close. He's pointing behind you, back to where the tunnels are, and you can see close on his gauntlet etched in look like very, very old runes. And by old, I mean like they don't seem like typical arcana. Make an arcana check.
23.
The runes etched on his gauntlets have a very dark origin, of which you do not know, but gathering from the amount of charisma that this person holds, and likely drawing connections to how this person was once close to the king, might have been a result of breaking one's oath. These are not runes that are typically and easily come upon. Nonetheless, as he points past you, he says,
Those trains are ready for us to send to very specific locations in a multitude of districts. Very high-profile targets that have been needing a reckoning for some time.
and you look over and you see 4 cars with the initials SC engraved on the bumper of them, another 4 engraved MM, another 6 engraved GC, all in the Grand Cathedral and Royal District tunnel. Then there are
Silverwood Castle.
2 cars headed towards the Ruby District, M.REH. And then 2 more cars headed towards Paterna, C.ELYS.
Our window is the next Lunar Revenant. And it seems that destiny is in fact on my side, as your compatriots have wandered into the family of the Forsaken. It might in fact be you all, that we rely upon to trigger the next event to distract the Radiant Order from our true intentions. We cannot wait any longer for such an event to pass on its own. Nor can we wait for the Obitus Scholare to do what they have been.
And what is that?
Toy with the dark powers likely have found.
So you're saying that's a bad thing and we can't wait for them to do that? Or we can't wait because they're taking too long?
Are they working beyond their wisdom?
Their timeline does not line up with my timeline. They're taking too long.
But their goals are somewhat in line with yours?
One would have hoped that their meddlings with the dark arts would have caused a revenant to spawn, but has not.
You see.
My final question for you. What do you think of Carmela? Is she an old friend of yours?
Make an insight check.
5. But it was kind of
It was-
due.
it was kind
it
of-
was
but
due
that-
to.
but it was a
Cade's-
bottle cap.
I don't
Cade's
like the bottle cap. Do that again.
It was bottle cap.
14.
Much better.
Thanks.
Oh, nice.
Buckets. Do again?
Buckets.
Sure.
No, that wasn't. Oh, I can do it.
Bam! For a brief moment, you catch his eyebrows twitch at Carmela.
Eyebrows.
She has been a faithful caretaker of the people here. I have nothing but respect for the matron. She has helped us in ways that I could not have ever foreseen. She didn't always used to look like that, you know.
I raise my eyebrows.
She was really bad.
Does anyone else have any questions before I think I navigate us to an exit of this?
I am. I think my blood is boiling
Hold him back, hold him back.
after seeing like the whole encounter with that. No, it didn't sit well with me, and I think I'm trying to hold myself back. And then also like with how the mission, the cause, how he sort of like said, you guys can help us out, and even what's your character's name?
Gotcha.
Even the Gatrog's response of like, maybe we could help you, I think all of that just doesn't sit well with me. And
Assuming alignment.
I think I would, I sort of step up, not in like an intimidating, but step up, and just say,
Throw hands.
yeah, rev the chainsaw. I think I would say, do you feel bigger now? Surely there has to be a better way to go about.
Hey, Ulrich, why don't we, we're gonna talk about this.
What you are trying to achieve without tormenting
No, for real
innocent,
though.
fairly helpless.
He gets himself killed, I'm not stepping in.
Moves you aside.
I've seen you
Yeah.
before.
What are they?
Have I seen him?
I don't know. Actually, I think there's
Okay. All right. Cool.
And by the way, Issa, this was the individual whom you traded with.
Oh,
Whoa.
really? This
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah.
Oh, why did he say so?
I don't recall this moment.
I just we like on our way back into Carmelo's. I think I sold some spare golden fiddle. Yeah, some loose.
Wait, so you might not actually have golden fennel.
Wait,
Give it to
hold on.
everybody except the guy that needs it.
All I
Sorry,
remember,
Matt.
No, you sold the poisonous one, didn't you?
I don't know, but I was just
I got
remember-
the Nightshade whisper.
Whatever
Yeah.
it was like spare. Like I got it separate from whatever we would have tried.
You picked
to
up
get.
enough
Rack
on your
Yeah,
own.
yeah, for
Yeah,
Rackjacks.
Yeah, for some coin. Yeah.
Does he recognize me at all? I pop out from behind Ulrich.
Bro!
Dab me up!
You step in between us.
He dashes you up and just smacks you across
Oh,
the room.
hey, Archie! Oh, yeah. You gave me that fiddle. Thanks, bro. But I am saying this to you now because they're given the theatrics, given the intensity of the moment. Like, it wouldn't have clicked until these conversations take
I mean, I
place.
definitely thought about it, but I was like, "There's no way this is the same guy that was like, whatever, like chummy with me." Okay.
Yep.
I think upon realizing that, I'm like, Issa, it's Issa. I'm Issa Glane. I feel like I know you, right? Am I crazy?
Looking
Issa
back
Glane?
at you, back to Issa, back at back.
I'm sorry. This is y'all can finish whatever it is y'all got going, but I had to step in for a second.
We traded not long ago. Right?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe we even,
How's that going treating you?
Like punching you right in the shoulder.
I mean, it slowed me down. My pockets are pretty heavy, but I mean, I'm happier for it.
I bet.
Um,
You're associated with this shithead.
I mean, hey, we're all in the same place right now, aren't we? I mean, we're all sort of associated in a way, you know.
Whoa.
Sorry, that was a very sad response.
You just wrote him off.
Are you aware of whom he's associated with?
I do. Yes, yes, I am aware of that. Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah.
Seems you have a bit of explaining to do, human.
There isn't anything I need to explain right now.
Okay.
The audience takes
Oh.
us out back.
All right then.
Make a persuasion check.
What am I persuading him against?
His
Oh man, that's not very persuasive.
his better judgment.
I mean 6.
His disposition hasn't changed.
I don't mean to cause an offense. I just it seems beyond you, Crownbreaker, to pick on someone such as this.
I'm sorry. Perhaps there wasn't enough clarity. You see this man?
Grabs him by the nape of his neck. And he's like, and he holds him like hovering over the fire pit.
This man not only has been working for the Radiant Church, of whom we loathe, but has decided
Turns him towards Crownbreaker.
to snitch on the whereabouts of a matron when she was in need.
As you glance over at Carmela, she kind of just like not like untrue, but also true.
Not untrue, but also
So
true.
like I'm not going to confirm it, but I'm not going to deny it. Like, can I confirm or deny? That's better. Really what I should have said.
Not untrue.
Untrue, but also
She doesn't want him to like behave this way.
Plausible
Like,
deniability.
yes, yes. More eloquently said.
Well, more plainly.
More plainly said.
And the public has been in need of some understanding, some perspective. And your lord, as far as I'm concerned, is to blame.
Throws him behind him.
I'm merely giving him an opportunity to right his wrongs.
How is the Lord to blame? We're very new to all this, so excuse our ignorance. We're asking questions because we want to understand who we're fighting against.
Lord Raymond, his master, who holds the whip, has been fueling and feeding the face of the Scalari for years. And for their tonic to show up when he makes his appearance at the gala, that is no simple coincidence. He and all of the other oligarch parasites are to blame. None less so than the church themselves, who have watched this all like bystanders. Worse, like vermin. And so we need more of the people to see the truth. If there's no other business to be had.
What? I had a question about these foolish vicars dabbling in dark forces. Do you know about anyone precisely what sort of dark forces and their intentions? You seem to have some background here. You've been embroiled in the fight for good, it seems. You might get a little caught up with you're in it.
He's looking confused. Not at your question, but at what you are.
Healing milk.
I'm kind of a cross realm kind of.
Cross
jump around a little
realm.
bit.
It's trans realm.
Ah, yeah. Sorry.
Cross realming.
Lucky cross realm. Can't see straight. I'm cross rolling right now.
I'm willing to give you a benefit of the doubt, given the majority of your party, and look past your celestial bloodline. Our groups have witnessed a number of clergy of the Scholari going back and forth between the Western Chapel and that abandoned brewery. I cannot say what it is that they have been concocting or wielding or dealing with, but it isn't quite as holy as their tonic seemed to be named. All the more reason to put this Raywalt in the dirt.
Do I know definitively about Raywald? Like, would he? I don't know. Do I just not know if he's actually guilty or not?
Well, he did fund them, right? He told us that.
He basically said, yes, in the past I have funded the Scholare. I've had contracts with the Scions in the New Bridge district.
A little bit of ISIS.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's basically diversified his portfolio to as many folks that have the ability to give him a public return on his investment, being that of, if it is a holy tonic, maybe the fact that he's someone who has been able to help those be rid of the Delari fever, if he has been involved in this. If it's with the Scions, then perhaps with the mannequins and the development of the mannequins. That in particular seems to be more of what he's most proud of in that feat. But as far as you're aware, Raywald didn't seem like the type to be
Altruistic.
altruistic, sure, probably not so much, but also not really one to just willingly go along with an evil faction if he knew it was an evil faction.
Yeah. What is Gildrak specifically accusing Raywolf of?
Supporting the Scholare of...
Doesn't Gildrak... Aren't they kind of allies? Is that...
Yeah, I'm confused about that.
Yeah.
He said oh man, they're just taking too long, but I wish they'd hurry it up.
From what you gather, it seems more that he was waiting for whatever it is that they're doing to trigger the event that will allow them to give them that window to set off their revolution.
Maybe they're bringing about the
So
next
he,
lunar
so he
revenant.
doesn't care at all about the tonic thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm gathering.
You can, both of you make an insight check.
But also,
It seems like he was saying that because he's waiting for the next opportunity
It's
to
a window.
to pop off on the with the
Yeah. But why would he not...
So,
why would he
how
be
many
so
blood heavies do you
opposed
have?
to Raywolf
You do have a bunch?
Oh,
Do you mind sharing?
Scholari.
So,
Is it just because they're associated with the Radiant Order? Or like these they used to be?
I'm straight, man.
yeah, so
Take
make
whatever
a,
you want.
what did
I'll
you
just do one
roll?
of these if you want that.
I don't care, man.
9,
Whatever you want.
5.
Admirals.
So, surface level, he clearly
Oh, no,
cares
I'm gonna
bend
about
You
the
want to take
people
No, don't bend them.
Yeah, Carlsberg.
of the Ruby District. So much as to, in his speech and in the conversation he had with Gottsrog, refer to the Forsaken as his family. So he said that twice. Clearly he cares about the people. Maybe he doesn't like what the tonic is doing, but is willing to let the Scholare give him a window. And knowing, if he knows that the tonic is, let's say, exacerbating the symptoms and making the fever worse, especially if he has a close connection with Carmela, Probably some things have been passed
yeah.
between them, some information, some understanding. That gives him reason to not like Ray Walt. I mean, he already doesn't seem to have liked any of the ultra wealthy, but to also not like those maybe similar to their patron. And especially Ray Walt, if there is already a past connection to him and the Scalare, setting out this and funding this tonic does not bode well if it means his people are dying.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
This revolution that, I guess I can speak to Crownbreaker. This revolution that you seek to take place, is this taking place across the realm or just within the Ruby District? Or I guess
you don't need to. You don't need to.
You mentioned two of the train cars going outside the Ruby District, but
Yes.
not across.
So there was so
the
the
whole realm.
when
Not
you
3 sets of the train cars are going to different
not
locations.
not to Elysium, not to Chateau Elysium.
so there
There's
is
one going to Chateau Elysium.
There is one.
Yes. CEYL to Paterna District, Chateau Elysium.
so there are 2 cars loaded going to Paterna that are labeled C Elise. There is another pair going towards in a tunnel with Ruby overhead that is going to MREH, Manor Rabel. There
And then
are
there's 2 going to the Silver Bullet Castle, 2 going to the Grand Cathedral, and 2 going to MM, which I don't know what is.
Magic Mike.
you have heard the Moongold family who are in the what is known now as the Sanctified District.
Where the Grand Cathedral and the castle are.
Yes.
Can we? Is it insight to determine good or evil?
Sure.
Can I do that?
On him?
Yeah.
Sure. Why
I
not?
think I've already just.
Whoa!
I've already determined.
16.
I don't think anything is good or evil. I think this is just subjective.
Oh, of course you'd say that working for Rayfall.
Well, I don't know. I don't know who the good guy is here, to be honest. Doesn't seem
Judging
black and white.
the aura that he emitted during his speech and catching a glimpse of those runes on his gauntlets do not have a good aligned
He's an
aura
oath
to
breaker.
them.
This man's an oath breaker.
Regardless of what you think he may believe idealistically.
Okay, so sidebar with the party.
Well, can we, yeah, well, you asked if there's any more business. I think we're done with our questions. Thank you for being so forthright.
Points at you.
Can we rely on your party to come through sooner than the Scalari have?
We've made it
You
our
the riddle?
business to hunt the lunar revenants.
All right.
About faces and the
Oh, is he leaving?
like, he turns
Or
around.
is he staying?
Well, he's not leaving,
Okay.
but he's like turning it and like going
I
to
kind of
like
have
another
a
another.
parting word for him after we.
Oh, sure. You can
after
skip
the
it.
side, got a parting
Oh, after
word
the
for
sidebar.
him.
What, I like, in game, I was like, I don't know if we can have a sidebar with him here.
Yeah,
But,
dude,
yeah.
we can
You
always.
But if you wanted to say something, that's fine.
No, parting word after the sidebar. He's still here. He's remaining in the tunnels.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's go right now. You see him and the it clicks in your head. The race of individuals, the half-breed stag is known as a service, and the half-breed bat is known as a vespertilio.
Wait, half-breed bat? I only heard half-breed canine and half-breed stag.
The one that flew
It's a
with
bat,
him.
yeah.
The ones that came
Snow.
with him were a bat and a stag.
Werewolves of London, or whoever it was.
Werewolves of London.
Yeah, there are also, and and the other more canine-looking ones are called Belua, B-E-L-U-A.
Belua. Sounds like a Rob.
So what was the
Zombie
stag
song.
one again?
Cervus, C-E-R-V-U-S, and then Vespertilio,
That's the bat one.
that's a bat one, and then Belua are Are like canine half-breeds.
There was like a gargoyle that animated. Can we like retroactively think about that as one of these Vespertilios? Or no?
Oh yeah.
They were fully stone.
So it was a legit gargoyle.
And it seemed more like a legit, like more of a guardian of the chapel,
Gotcha.
essentially.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah,
sidebar. I don't think like obviously there's the stuff going towards Chateau Elysium that concerns us. Well, I guess character voice. There's the train car labeled that it's heading towards Chateau Elysium, which I think is concerning. However, this is somewhat of a parallel mission that runs alongside ours. I feel like as we proceed with our own interests, they might coincide, they might not coincide with this revolution.
What are our own interests?
I brought you all here to help Raywold, to help clear his name and to help defeat the scourge. And it seems like just on a dime you're turning on it.
I never said that our mission has adjusted. I think our next step, we can all agree, is to go to the Abbotship Brewery and find the source of this scourge, whether that's the source of the Dolari fever or the source of the this chemical compound creating this cure.
Yes.
I do think that this is a bridge we will have to cross, but at this point, our next step is the same regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
To clear the name of Rayval, whatever crimes that this being assumes Rayval has committed are things that did happen, that are wrong, that this being is against.
I'll agree with Cengiz that there are things in my mind that have yet to be adjudicated.
Yeah.
Yes, and some beings are essentially a wrecking ball, and you point them in the right direction, and good may happen.
Gotcha. Are you really all in on this revolution? To me, it just sounds like destruction.
Well, destruction of the bad.
Think near me.
What is the bad?
I think near me, some flowers.
I hear-
bloom
I-
underneath my feet.
Whoa. Out of his gun barrel?
What I hear?
Woodstock. But yeah, flowers begin to bloom beneath my feet, and I say, I'm unaffiliated for now. My ultimate goal is to get back to my home. I long for the springtime bloom in the river basin where I come from, where my homeland is. And I know my next step is, which might, from what Crownbreaker has went into, he described that the next lunar revenant appearing might coincide with the revolution. It's not extremely relevant to me.
Surely you can't sign off on destruction. What seems to be.
I can't sign off on destruction of the great bed that I respawn in. That's really the one thing that I have the most.
You don't care about the lives that could be lost.
I'm thinking about. I call me a mark or susceptible, but I see a bunch of wounded people who might have been under the boot of oppression for years. It's hard for me to really interpret. I know very little about this area and this time. I don't even know where or when I am.
I can accept that. What I can't accept is that you were telling the truth when you told him that you wanted to join his rebellion.
It was. I asked if he had requested our aid, and he said that, and what he described was basically our medium-term mission somehow factored in to his vision. So yes, accuse me of being a revolutionary here, but truly I do side myself with the oppressed in this moment. However, it's not my true mission in this moment.
Innocent lives shed may be innocent lives dead otherwise in a much greater magnitude if we fail.
Why?
The Dolari fever.
Yes.
Why would the Dolari fever be cured by killing the church?
No,
One, because what is the true church,
They-
not them.
We also don't
No,
know the...
no.
we
This
don't
is
know-
the true church that they're trying to kill.
The Radiant Order.
The Radiant Order. Yes, they want to kill the Radiant Order and the ruling class,
Yeah.
who are all, to the best of our knowledge, attempting to reverse the Dolari fever and contain it within the region where it has been spreading.
We don't
Which
have...
is what we're gonna find out, because we're checking out the brewery.
We don't have
don't
proof
have
on
proof.
it either, but we
We're
don't.
just about
There's
to.
no reason.
We need to know more, which is why our next step is the Abishit Brewery.
All right.
To be
As
honest,
long as we're agreed on, we need to know more.
to be honest, I'm starting to question
No offense to Karn, but
Grey Wolf as well. So
I mean, Karn,
I'm not sure.
I've known you for probably less than 6 months. I mean, I think we just.
And we've known this guy for 1 minute.
So let's just go to the Abishit. So let's just go to the Abishit Brewery and see what we can find out about his tonic. and how it can
100%.
cure the
I agree on the next steps. I just wanted it to be clear that the next steps inform our decision that we just made, sort of.
So two options: the ruling class is in it. They're pushing the pandemic, or they're actually trying to stop it. And this, whatever this cause is going to, it's either way one way or way.
I think it's
wrong
also
way.
worth. I think there's just like with. I think that our past few meetings have given us these really interesting conundrums of there being multiple things, multiple points of tension. We have this tonic sweeping. We also have the Dolari fever sweeping. Like there are multiple pain points we can explore, and it seems to me that Scourge could be representing either one of those things, and it's worth. Yeah, it's absolutely worth exploring. and
Scourge,
delving
that came from Raywall, right? That's his term. So I believe he means the Dolari fever, because he said that the tonic was their supposed cure for the Scourge. So he's talking about the Dolari fever. So he wants us to figure out what's causing the Dolari fever, which Camilla gave us a possible explanation for. We can look into that. But he also wants us to make sure that he's not associated with the adverse side effects of the supposed cure from the I can't remember the name of those.
the
rogue
priest
monks.
Scolari.
Yeah.
I think it's also like I think before we leave, we can speak to Carmela about her view of Crownbreaker. I think
100%.
I think his view of her is, to me, positive.
So far, she is the only person outside of our group that I trust right now.
It's
Why-
it's
why
it's
do
him and C9 it's her and C9 that I trust the most here.
What about Rackjacks?
What about
I
Rackjacks?
thought his name was Mad Jack.
Who's C9? I'm sorry.
C9 is just one of the
robots.
The robots.
Oh,
Why do we care what anyone thinks of Crownbreaker?
I think I say this on behalf of some of our members that are expressing doubt and possible malintent that he may have. I think it
It's
might.
not possible. It is malintent.
Yeah, it's against the certain people.
I think
Now,
it's
whether
up, I
it's
think
deserved
it's up
or
for
not
debate.
is up for
It's up for
exactly.
debate, and that's why
Yeah.
I need to know more.
But I mean,
I agree.
my
justice.
perception is that he's disillusioned and misguided, not that he has some nefarious. Well, okay, again, it's Debatable what that means, but
We have to know more.
I'm just in this
Unless you're trying to square up
about
with
from
him
your
right now, we have no control over what he does. I mean, what are we gonna do to stop him? I mean,
100%. I don't think we should get involved with him at all.
The lunar revenue
beyond
comes,
beyond
those
what we
trains
have
leave.
to
Do you want to cut the
not
lines
die
to that train
before we leave here?
I mean, we could fuck up the train
You want to
tracks.
fuck up the trains right now?
No,
Well, it sounds like these things
But
are
you-
parallel purposes.
no, they're not.
No, I'm sorry, not parallel purposes, but parallel journeys. These things will happen regardless, unless we intervene now. If you truly see the malintent, intervene now.
What he
It's
wants
gonna
us
be-
to
trains are gonna
do
leave
is
on the lunar revenant.
bring about a lunar event and lunar revenant as quickly as
Is that
possible.
not our own intent?
That could be weeks
No.
from now, though.
we have no control over the lunar events.
And
We
our
have
the one thing that we
control
can't
over the
that we
events.
aim to do is destroy it.
Correct?
And for all we know, that the fever is coming from the revenant, is coming from this phase. When we destroy the revenant, the fever might break.
He could blow everything up, and the Delari fever would still be here. I mean,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
only thing.
I think we're all of one mind on this.
All right, I don't understand what the argument is then because I'm just.
I think our main point of contention is the true purpose and meaning of Crownbreaker. If it's truly reckless disregard and maybe evil by proxy, that's one interpretation. Another interpretation is true revolution with the lower classes in mind. And there might be some crossfire and unnecessary deaths. I think those are the two interpretations of what can happen now. Obviously, we don't know what will happen and how it will happen, when it will happen.
All right, as long as we're not signed on for it, I'm okay with it.
You are
Could be
at this point.
retributive malice. Or
At this point,
calculated justice.
Are you looking at me because you've got glasses on? I can't tell.
Waiting for this.
We will see. Talk to Big C. We talk to Big C.
Yep, big C.
We talk to Big C.
I was going to say,
C's out.
approaching you, Carmela glides.
Someone yell Big C.
That's my name.
Hey, what's up, brothers? Y'all say Big C.
Big C in the house.
Carmela glides up to your group as you then post argument kind of look around and you see that your sidebar started to get a little bit louder than
There's just like a bunch of people gathering around us, listening.
As these two scream at each other.
No.
Raising your voices. Sorry.
Working things out.
Crownbreaker and
that means
his
we love each other.
Crownbreaker and his entourage did not seem to really care or be fazed by this conversation, but it was enough of a commotion for at least a handful of folks, Halta and her other two friends, to also notice and kind of like creep in a little bit, as well as Carmela. I'm sorry, but I do not recommend that you discuss things that may be against Gildrax's wishes. Regardless of the intent, regardless how I feel about it, I would not say it would be wise.
I thought we were trying to be aside so that people weren't around.
It just depends on how others may have interpreted your heated discussion. The other bit that I am going to recommend. The sun has set for about 2 hours ago, and you all seem to have had quite a violent encounter outside of that door. Perhaps, from what I gathered, is if the Abbotship Brewery is next on the list. Spend the night here, and I'll have things for you in the morning. Try not to rouse suspicion if you want to be successful both in their eyes and in your causes.
I do. Before we, I appreciate the invitation for the stay, and I think we will take you up on it. I do wonder what your opinion of Crownbreaker is. Do you see him as a positive force in this world?
She ponders for a moment, seeing that she's trying to formulate an accurate assessment of her thoughts and feelings. Gildrak is a very complicated individual. He was part of the Silver Blood God before the Godless King set about a curse throughout Luyana prior to his execution. As what was mentioned earlier, he was tasked with said execution. After which, he witnessed the church practically separate nearly indefinitely for years after the First War. The people from district to district holding quite an iron fist over the people. There was no trust in the Silverblood family after the king was executed, so they looked to the Radiant Order. And the dogmatic approaches to many methods of containment did not sit well, least of all with him. And he felt left to rot, less than. So you must understand where he's coming from, and not just some upstart hell-bent on destruction for destruction's sake. But if you're asking if I agree with destruction for destruction's sake, I would say no.
But do you agree with destruction for the sake of his cause?
Sounds like he's more concerned about getting revenge than actually helping the people that have suffered.
Unfortunately, I do not see an avenue where revenge does not happen this way or in another in the future. However, if my love for the people of Ruby has anything to say about my love for the people of Ruyana, if there was a third door, so to speak, where those responsible for such a scourge, as some may call it, Delari fever as it is identified as such, I would want them to be put to justice at the most inhumane degree. However, it troubles me to think that the only options are to either sit back and watch as the people do what people do in trying times, or join in such an action. I have no way to convince him to avert his plans, nor do I intend to. But you have all had your own success against a revenant, might I remind you, Something that has leveled districts in the past before. This should give you courage, no? Find that third door. Rest tonight. We'll speak in the morning.
So we seek our accommodations. I do want 15 words with Crownbreaker before I go to sleep. 15 specifically? Maybe more.
I'll count them.
I would have been asleep.
It's like a message.
So I just
Yeah.
I
Ascending.
wander over
Ascending,
to
yeah.
to his side of the fire or wherever he is,
Yeah.
and I say,
Well, just as you approach, you hear him address the service.
Fodor, you're going to need to keep these people in check. I'm not so sure about these newcomers. We cannot afford any distractions. Nix, keep your eyes to the brewery and the chapel. Should anything come of the Scholari's endeavors before they do, tell me of them.
You approach.
Crownbreaker,
Speak.
I have but a few words to say to you before I retire. I believe in the nobility of your mission. And I want to say that they may crush a rose. And I motion to the sick and to the people that he brought in. They may crush a rose, but they cannot stop the coming of spring and more flowers bloom beneath his feet. And I retire.
Okay. Don't even roll.
Give me just
Don't even roll. If
a
he succeeds.
Give me
charisma. Here's what I'm going to here's what I'm going to say. This is going to be a charisma
Constitution
check.
saving throw.
Roll for
But you, if there's any
Roll for what?
difference between a persuasion and a deception check, apply the modifier in your head. Don't say out loud.
Okay.
To the roll.
Advantage.
So can I roll like two?
Honestly, you know what?
one
You've
for
had
the
enough
rest?
conversation, and that bloom was awesome. So I'll give you advantage on this.
Wow.
But apply the modifier between persuasion and deception.
Cool. It's cool.
It is great.
Well done.
Don't say which one you're choosing. Just tell me the final.
There's more dignity in a D8 than a D6.
Who's that side kind of roll over there?
Natural 20.
Oh!
Persuasion.
To be fair, you didn't even have to say persuasion.
Okay. Well, I had the same modifier, so I had to pick in my head.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanted to do
No, it's fair.
What'd you get?
I had a natural 20.
I look forward to seeing the good that you bring to our people, our family, the Forsaken.
And he holds out his hand for a clasp.
And I think I do.
Issa in the background.
I think
Split second.
Time freeze.
Yeah.
Don't leave me hanging.
I think
do you
I
think
do it, and a gentle rain falls as we clasp.
Oh, wow. Okay. More druid craft coming down. Love it.
I see this. Right? I mean, he's not far off. I think I
Yeah.
was-
You see him and
Just dapping up this
just
time.
lapping out.
Water falling.
Well, give yourselves a long rest. And it's a very restless night for the first hour, especially given the intensity of this evening. But you all find slumber soon enough, and in the morning, what you assume to be morning, as enough people are waking up. There's no windows down here. But Carmela has approached your group, whether you have, found yourselves on the same center by the fire on the floor or by some of the other hammocks out by the curved walls. She approaches you all. I know that this is This might not be enough, but hopefully should give you some sort of edge at the brewery. And she hands you 5
Oh my god.
healing potions.
Big C, big C, big C, big C.
As well as, she looks to both Mizd and Issa. Now, these, and she's holding very small parchment, but in scroll form. She hands them both, like one each to you guys. You do with these as you need. These are spell scrolls. Technically, any of your party are capable of
I
casting.
take one.
Are casting these.
Thank you.
But from what I understand, the lunar event makes it rather difficult for those to come back from the dead. These are the spell Gentle Repose. Should
GENTLEREPO. Sorry, you
Yeah.
spell gentle repose.
now I got it. Should any of you fall in battle, who knows what you may come upon, at least 2 of you should be able to keep your bodies from decomposing, as well as allow yourselves to hold that which could allow you passage back to the land of the living. If the Revenant is summoned, or if the event changes, that it will be their window to come back. However, again, I am not one to be well read on the Radiant Order's doings, but it may be possible, should those bodies be conserved well enough, that those within the Grand Cathedral could bring them back sooner than I can.
Interesting.
So, go with haste, caution, and courage.
Abbotship. We'll be back, Big C. We'll be back.
Is there any coffee?
Yeah.
Does coffee exist in this place in the morning?
I have some tea I can brew, and she can like make you some tea.
Oh,
She just give you a little bit of a pick me up. You venture out of the ruined railways, out of Zed Junction. There, leaving behind Halta and Rackjacks to be tended to by Carmela.
Smell you later, Mad Jack.
And now,
That's, you know what? Let's address this right now. Are you guys leaving the golf?
No, we're leaving.
The
what?
Yes,
We'll smell you later.
The
Sorry.
We already gave
What-
the fennel.
what was
since
the-
our middle
The what? Sorry, we're too far. What did it?
I would have had a conversation with Rackjacks asking him what is going on. He would have told me. I would have asked you guys.
okay.
I mean, it's up to you.
So
whether you
whoever
finish.
may have had whatever fennel
Yes,
remains
we gave
dug,
it to her.
And he's gone, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he took
Sounds
left.
he's like, I guess she can't save me. But
Get fucked, MJ.
MJ.
Mad Jacks.
Mad Jack.
Isn't
The-
that Rackjack?
It is, but the Spotify
You clearly haven't been
transcript.
reading the text.
I read a lot of them, but there was a lot.
The transcripts?
I didn't read the
The
transcript.
transcript thought it was Mad Jack.
Oh, I do remember that.
That's why I've been saying Mad Jack.
The transcripts.
Read the bloody transcripts.
I thought I was doing good because I actually watched the episode. Listened to
Dude,
the
no,
episode.
big respect. Big respect.
After what feels like hours of skulking through sullied streets,
I'm all about skulking through sullied streets.
What a lie.
Alliteration.
That's right.
to avoid any roaming beasts, especially now during a brighter daylight amidst this perpetual twilight under the yellow crown moon.
He's Bob Dylan.
The Boom!
That's funny.
The abandoned brewery comes into sight. There are a cluster of slumped over beasts that lay in a courtyard just outside of the brewery.
Is this us from a couple days ago?
No. This is just, these are just other monsters, other scourge-born that have passed or been slain.
Okay.
And
We're all pinching our noses, but respectfully.
Thumbs out.
And the street you are coming upon, the brewery's up. You can see it. You see the rear of the brewery, and you don't see the front door yet. But you're coming around the bend of this street, where another crossway is about to form, and you hear wails, cries for help, and a struggle ahead. No! Stephen, please! Run! You turn and you try to catch a glimpse of this commotion. Are you rushing to catch this scene, or are you carefully approaching stealthily?
Do we have to choose as a unit or no?
I would say in this case, as a group, yes.
Rushing?
Rushing?
Or
Stealth.
dying?
Stealth for me.
Rushing or
I'm dragging.
Stealth.
Okay.
So 2 for stealth, 1 for rush.
I wanna rush.
Stealth, rush,
That would be my inclination.
You're the deciding vote.
I'm stealthy.
stealthing.
Oh no, we're not.
You know what? I'm
Oh, yeah,
also. I didn't mention this, but and I should have mentioned, Carmela had her own sidebar with Orin, and it sounded like she wanted to talk to him about how he's been able to handle the cleaver. So
I've handled many a cleaver across the 7 seas. I don't need no sea wench to tell me which way. I've sailed the Denari Ocean. I don't need no landlubber. My ships have whipped hither and thither across.
but
I walked planks made of delirium.
needless to say, he hung back for her sake
Is that junction?
at the hideout.
This is getting too
Dude, come on. It could have been a deciding vote. So do we want to do like evens and odds just to decide?
Isn't it 4?
I thought we were all doing
You guys. So
Oh, is it
Draco
four?
is the deciding
I think
factor,
so,
technically
yeah.
speaking. So
Okay.
it's 3 and 3 right
Got
now.
it.
I was going off of his hand signal. 3 and 3 right now? Evens and odds?
3 stealth, 3 rush.
Evens is stealth. Well, we have to decide.
What's a
unit.
stealthier number? Is odds
Yeah,
stealthier?
but can we do mini die?
Evens is stealthier.
Mini die?
No,
Evens
odds,
is-
odds is way.
Oh, mini die.
Odds is, roll it. Odds is stealthier.
No, I
Symmetry.
want someone else to roll.
Odds is stealthy.
Roll it in your hand first.
Yeah, roll in your hand.
Yeah, otherwise it doesn't count.
Odds is stealthier. Tree. Stealthy.
Odds.
Okay, everyone, give me a stealth check, please.
I have heavy chainmail, so
Clunk!
I have disadvantage.
So, and if
This is
someone
why I
could
don't
roll
wanna
for Draco as well.
Yeah.
My rolls.
My woes.
Maybe just
Oh,
17.
okay. Tyler.
I'm out here.
Only 19.
Yeah, 12 for me.
Okay, round the table. Chingus?
What time
Triple my
is
ass.
this? Morning?
4.
Sun out?
Done by 14.
Guns out?
Guns
Morning,
are out.
but it's like
Sun's out, guns out.
Twilight.
What did Draco get, by the way?
I put a 14. I don't know what his plus is. He's a paladin.
I got
He
it.
has disadvantage.
Oh.
So you roll again and take the lowest.
Disadvantage too.
Yep. That's why both you and him went to hang back and see and find Rat Jacks.
Seven.
Yeah.
He has no plus.
Okay.
Same.
Issa.
10.
19.
11.
15.
And he had disadvantage.
15,
Wow.
17.
Ulrich, you are impressed with how well you're able to keep silent.
Damn, okay!
Talking to himself.
Yeah. Didn't expect this.
Okay.
I'm stealthy as fuck.
But with most of them, with the exception of Dakarin, your nerves are kind of getting the best of you, and your footing slips at points when you shouldn't have. You're kicking rocks, and it's
Three of us start tripping of each other into one dog pile.
And you then see a horrifying sight of some monstrosity, what must have been a humanoid at some point, but they're several limbs, deep indigo, all the way up to the joint. And I say several limbs because they have on their back 4 limbs that have now grown, and these long, like almost flamingo-esque, like backwards knee legs, and a massive hunched over back, and one arm as it's like and viscera, blood, ichor splattering from whatever poor soul this thing has caught in front of him. You see this other guy bolting, and with one arm that has been fused with some sort of firearm, and fires a concussive blow and sends him back breaking in half.
Wait, so this other, the
Gotta be
crazy
Jaeger.
mangled beast has a firearm and
On one of his limbs.
so he
Like
like
an Eldritch cannon almost.
That's
Or
crazy.
pretty much that, yeah.
It looks, well,
The beast did that, or
is
the
it,
beast
is it
ran
like
away?
is it like
The
the
beast did that.
firearms that the guards on the wall had?
give both.
It almost seems like a Jaeger.
I'll say you two give me a perception check.
Can I do stop that from happening?
21.
14. Oh no, 15.
The attire, the clothing, the type of weaponry looks like this person was once a Jaeger. And the cannon that they had on their that they have on their arm kind of reminds you of the same type of cannon that what was his name?
Borast?
Henry might have had a few days ago.
It wasn't Boras.
On the
guy.
on the
Not Boras.
Oh, at the gate.
yeah.
That same like two-handed like arm, not really an arm cannon, but like holding this massive firearm cannon type weapon.
Dude, does the monster notice us?
How far away?
Does he notice the Three Stooges?
Running into each other, pulling each other's
Like,
ears.
yeah.
Like thumping each other in the face.
There is a
Who's on foist?
there is a brief moment where you all collectively catch how not stealthy you all are being. And as it wails on the person in front of them, it stops. And there is
Oh good, we did
a
something good.
shack between you and the brewery / this monster. What do you all do?
How far away is the guy that got blasted?
100 feet.
Is he dead? He's probably dead.
He's not moving.
Sorry, so you said there's a shack between us and the brewery.
Yes.
So where is this thing in relation to the shack?
So this thing is basically 15 feet from the front door of the brewery.
Okay.
And the distance between the side, like the southern wall, essentially, of this brewery is maybe about 30 feet from the shack.
Okay.
The shack is roughly 30 feet wide.
How far away is this creature? 120 plus.
No, I'd say about 60 feet away.
Draco touches Ulrich and casts guidance. So if those fall on you, you have a
D4
D4 on
stuff.
on any ability check.
Do we want to kill this thing or no?
Like this, like how much safety could this, how much respite could this shack offer us? Either we run by and risk getting shot by this cannon, and enter the Abbotshire Brewery, or we enter the shack. I don't know. Maybe there's another weapon inside the shack. It's tough to know. Do we just all focus fire?
I will say, with a 23.
Yeah.
With a 23.
21.
21. Regardless. You saw one unboarded window on this brewery on the south wall.
Let's run. I say we run.
Is it
But
obvious
if we run, we're just running directly toward it, right?
Kind of kiting it a little bit.
Skirting, hiding it.
Yeah, let's make Draco run at it.
Yeah.
Are both
Serpentine,
of them obviously
serpentine.
dead? It's like,
I mean, the one that was blasted, not moving, and his back is not a full 90 degrees, but it is like pretty bent. And you haven't yet seen what remains of the individual that it was smashing.
I say we run for it. I cast pyrotechnics on the way. Try to blind this guy on the way. It requires a con save throw. Otherwise, becomes blinded until the next turn. Then we're just
What's the range of that? Does it have
60 feet, and this creature is about 60 feet away. But I feel like I need to see the area.
Just as a reminder, in terms of D&D mechanics, anything that happens to an enemy kicks off an initiative.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm saying. But if we run towards it, something happens. Jump in. But like, if we run towards it, we're gonna fight it.
how big is it?
Large. It is at least the size of 3 men.
I point to the
What?
the unboarded window.
In like overall mass and width.
Okay.
Not height.
Yeah.
Is our desire to not fight this thing?
I don't want to be one hit KO'd by the gun.
Yeah, it's actually
We're not
powerful
NPCs, but
because
you know.
of the moon,
Oh,
the Eldritch moon.
Yeah.
wait. What is that? I was not here last time. What?
The yellow crescent moon that we have literally benefits radiant attacks.
And the gun
Makes
is
it
radiant
stronger.
attack.
Presumably.
This one.
Is the gun a radiant? We don't know.
Don't know yet.
I feel like I feel like probably okay. So like, I would be more comfortable having the cover of like getting to the shack before we just are like going straight toward the brewery. But if we are just gonna like go straight toward the unboarded window or whatever, do we try ripping the ape and like sending it as like
Who's
a
got the
diversion?
ape? Does Orin have the ape?
I think
Orin has the
We should just count to 10 on each shot what we're gonna do and just see what happens.
I have a pass without a trace that has a range. We
All right.
could all do within it.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
That is a good thing to know.
Yeah, 30-foot range.
What is that?
It's a pass without a trace plus 10 bonus to stealth checks.
If we all stay together in the same range?
30 feet.
It's pretty solid.
Can we stealthily
Alright.
move? I mean, I don't know. We've already rolled this stealth check.
That is
That is-
how
I feel
is
like-
whether or not it was aware of potential other entities around. But if you guys want to go from your position and move elsewhere stealthily,
What's
this would be
distance?
another stealth check. Up about 30 feet
To the
to
window.
the window.
To the wall.
I guess I should say from the far side of the shack, because you guys are behind the shack, right? So if you were to go around the back end of the shack, travel 30 feet, you could reach the window.
I'm just gonna run towards the window, and I'm gonna use gravity leap.
Alright.
I enhance the gravitational field around my body, allowing me to jump higher and farther by jumping.
Did you hear what Seth said then?
I'm just gonna do it.
for
Let's do it.
freezes.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
I'm going through the window too.
Gravity leap. Bang!
Okay.
I run for the shack.
Okay.
I'm on.
Like in it or like around it?
To it, and I fly up on the top to lay down.
Okay. So, Dakaran, give me a stealth check. Gotrog, you cast Gravity Leap.
Yes.
Okay. And that is giving you like bound to the window, and you clasp onto the frame. Which you? Oh no!
Just not going with.
Well,
Sorry.
I am going to address this I'm going to address this in clockwise order, just so that way there is an address of what's happening. Changus, what are you doing?
That means I get to re-roll it.
Yeah, that's you add plus 10.
Yeah.
I would give the pass with it. Is it too late for Simon?
We're starting with you.
Too late for
We're starting with you. Too late for it.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds like
100%.
okay. Changus is casting his. You invoke your clerical divine essence and send out an aura of subtlety.
Send it.
And you all, so long as you are within 30 feet of Changus, have plus 10 to your stealth checks. Isa, what are you doing?
What a great spell.
That's
That's a kick-ass
sick.
spell.
That's sick.
How close are we to the shack?
I think
30 feet.
feeling the aura that old Changus has just dispelled, Issa throws her hood up and casts invisibility.
Put your hood up.
Advantage plus
10.
plus 10.
Plus
Miz,
10, yeah.
what are you doing?
I'm just running my ass towards that thing, but I'm
just
also
running
like,
my ass.
Are you moving after you cast that spell? Like moving towards the shack?
Yeah, I'm in 30 feet anyway.
So you're just
I'm
trying
right
to,
at the edge.
Yeah, you're gonna go along with the group if you go. I want to go towards the shack and presumably with what's your character's name? Changus?
Are you stealthing?
Yes.
Huh?
Are you stealthing?
Are you stealthing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll it, brother.
Yeah, I'll ask for rolls in a second. You get 11 after flying up to the roof.
Oh, I don't get to re-roll?
Does he get to add plus 10?
I earned it.
So I don't get to re-roll.
Gotrog, does the pass without trace change your actions?
Wait, I can't change my actions?
You were already planning on stealthing, unless you don't want to stealth.
That's cool, you're right.
Is those experiencing Pass Without Trace going towards the shack or the door? Or the window?
It's
I was going
direction.
toward the window.
I want to go towards. I want to get in that.
I'm gonna go right.
Alright, hold on,
towards
Mike. Is the shack and the window kind of in the same direction? Because that's what
It is in the same direction. It is shack, and then another 30 feet past the shack is the window, the south wall.
So I kind of thought over here.
Yeah, we want the window.
Over here. So shack shack window over here
Be shack.
is the
Abednego.
is Abednego. We're gonna call him Abednego.
Cursed Abednego.
Wait, weren't we?
Change the name. Change the name.
Well, weren't we like already
bet for
essentially
sure.
at the shack?
You were like approaching the shack, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta just do something.
Okay.
We gotta move.
So
I was getting
I get to retcon my action.
I'm allowing it because pass without trace is happening.
So
So
I can stealthily choose to go to the window.
correct.
Wait,
Instead
what
of
about your gravity leap?
He's allowing me to retcon.
Oh, okay.
Stealth really
the only reason I wasn't
I don't
doing that
think
for
I can. I
Dakaran
don't
is
know if
because
I
he was
can.
already taking a stealthful action.
Can I stealthily gravity leap? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna. I'll stealthily go. For
I
the
would
window.
say no.
I'll stealthily go for the window.
Okay. What are you doing, Ulrich?
I'm just gonna go towards the window.
Okay.
The shack. If I see him going to the shack, I'm gonna go towards the shack.
Call of hands. Raise your hand if you are stealthing. I know you are.
I'm
Okay.
using his shit.
Each of you give me a
Yeah,
stealth
mine
check,
is- yeah,
please,
mine
and add 10 to it.
Stealth is...
Oof, that's 15.
And you have advantage,
That's not one.
Issa.
Oh yeah.
Well, if I get 11, you're saying 11, I get 20 technically.
Yeah.
It was a natural one, but I have plus 9.
Well, that one is now.
But yeah, it's a critical fail.
Well, I
Wait,
said it's 11,
is it
so I'm
plus
saying it's
10?
20.
Is that what you're saying?
It's still a crit
Plus
fail.
10?
Still a crit fail.
It is still a crit fail.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
20.
The rare 20 crit fail. Unnatural 20 crit fail.
Okay.
Or not.
Yeah.
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 Given-
Yahoo!
Given how Draco has not been the type to enjoy going stealthy, and would rather get shit done, he is not rolling stealth, and he's running with the group. He's not gonna like do anything against the group. So if you guys are going to the window, he's gonna go to the window.
If he's
You're
going to the
to
wall,
the
he'll go to the wall.
If he's going
If the sweat's dripping,
down.
it'll drip.
if it's tripping. If you guys are going to the monster, he'll go to the monster. But that's great. Changus, what did you get?
16.
16. Isa.
Sweat's dripping.
31.
31.
Yeah.
Yo!
Missed. What did you get?
Pathetic.
16.
16. Natural 1. What did you-
22.
20.
That's a 20. Critical fail. 20.
Natural 1, 20. 22.
That one.
Nat 1.
I think the two people
God
going to
dang,
the
dude.
shack.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, that's your
we
mistake.
done fucked up.
That's your mistake.
Something about the shack.
Technically, this means
Hate
with
shack.
2 critical failures, that is 4 against
Wait a second.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
and
Wow.
4.
That's crazy, actually.
Wait, but I'm my own man.
Wait, what's going
Don't
on?
shackle me to this group.
So as a
Shackle.
as a
I barely know these people.
Yeah. all rich and
as a group check, this was determining how successful you all would be. And it is a split 50-50.
So half of us fail.
yeah, so the 2 failed.
The shack group.
Did anyone get 15 or below who were not the crit fails?
No.
No.
The monster turns in the direction of the shack, based off of the previous
Fuck yeah.
commotion. However, the rest of you time yourselves fairly well enough to run
Thank you, Chinggis.
Yeah.
up to the brewery, leaping into the window, and find yourselves sparing an encounter with this monster.
I can't stay invisible with you humming.
Shut up!
Sparing an encounter
That's me.
with this creature
Oh my god.
for now. And that's where we will end tonight's session.
Oh.
These people.
Yahoo can Dwayne my rock Johnson.
That's gonna be a cold open.
Who up Dwayne and they rock Johnson?
Technology companies drive me crazy. Yahoo, man, they can Dwayne my rock Johnson. Oh, they can Dwayne my rock hard Johnson.
You can't add rock hard. Put a hard on it.
Hard throbbing.
But man, I just get so mad at these technology companies, these big names and these small letters. And, oh, it just drives me nuts.